Hello crafty friends. In today's video I'm going to make a slightly bigger card than usual. I normally make 4x6-ish inch cards, but today I'm going to make a 5x7 inch card. And that's because I want to use these stamps to stamp the word happy birthday, and they're quite big, so I'm going to need a big card blank to stamp them on. I've put my card blank in my stamp positioner and I'm going to get the words roughly where I want them. So this is happy. I've put an R there just so I can get the spacing right. It doesn't matter if they're not perfectly level. It's quite a bouncy font, so it'll be nice to have them up and down a bit, I think. So I'll pick those up, remove the R and the ruler, dust this with talcum powder to remove any static, moisture or oily fingerprints. And now I'll ink these up with sticky embossing ink, and we'll pour some gold embossing powder on and then heat it with my heat tool. So I've got a bit of acetate here, and I've put that P stamp on it and manoeuvred it where I want it to stamp. Now I can pick it up and remove the acetate, and that should stamp in the right place. I've stuck a bit of washi tape to my glass mat, and I'm going to stick birthday to it. So now I've got that on there like that, I can place that where I want it on here. Pick it up with the door, make sure it looks straight. I think that's straight enough. Washi tape can stay on there for now. Talcum powder, stamping and gold embossing powder now. Right, happy with that. The card's a bit warped, but it will flatten out again. So what I want to do now is add some stamping, some little flowers with a kind of solid shape. So I've got one of my hodgepodge stamp sets here and my Catherine Poulette die inks. This one is Coral Cabana, and I'm going to place a few flowers here and there scattered around my sentiment. This one's cummerbund. And some tiara. Got some little leaves as well, which I'll add in matcha. And a little, tiny little branchy thing, maybe, I don't know. But we're going to add that in apricot, which is a nice pale orange. And I think I'll add some of these shapes over the stamped words as well. Oops. So I've stamped over some of the letters. I'm just going to carefully wipe off that so that I don't accidentally smear it across the card. This little flower didn't stamp particularly well, but I might be able to repair it ever so slightly with my little correction pen. If you want to know how to make one of these correction pens, there is a video linked below. I've got a pale peachy dot marker here. I'm not sure. Oh, Peach Bliss, there you go. And I'm going to add some little dots in and around. So really all I'm doing with this card is adding a joyful burst of colour and gold and flowers and leaves and birthday wishes. I'm trying to leave the corners a little bit empty, just so you feel like you're being drawn towards the middle of the card. And now I just want to add some gold spatters. I don't mind that they go on the back of the card. I quite like having the design carry on to the back of a card. But as I said, I'm trying to keep the corners clear. I'm going to give this a dry with my hairdryer and then wipe any of the gold splatters off of the embossing. You could, if you wanted to, do all the stamping and splattering before you did the heat embossing. But I kind of wanted to see how big my sentiment was going to be, so I knew what area to stamp around. To get the spatters off of the heat embossing where they're particularly obvious, I'm just going to go over it with a wet paintbrush, and that will lift them off. You could leave them on there if you wanted. So there you go, a pretty quick and easy, colourful, energetic birthday card. Nice and thin, just one layer, so we'll go through the post really easily. If you don't fancy the heat embossing stage, you could always do the stamping and splattering and then die cut some letters or a sentiment and stick it on top. I'm pretty happy with the way that's turned out. I'm going to put this under a heavy book just to make sure it gets nice and flat again. Right, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope it's given you a few ideas. If it has, please do let me know in the comments. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe and ring the notification bell, and I'll see you back here in a couple of days for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.